Good morning, or perhaps good evening wherever you are. Today we gather not to mourn a single star, but to reflect on a pattern, a quiet, almost imperceptible thread that weaves through the fabric of Hollywood's recent tragedies. We've all seen the headlines, haven't we? The sudden departures, the shock, the questions that linger long after the initial news fades. It's hard to accept when a talent, someone who brought so much joy into our lives, is taken from us too soon. Today we delve into the lives of men who, despite their public personas of strength and charisma, were fighting silent battles. Battles that, in a chilling twist of fate, often remained hidden until the very end. We ask, what truly connects these lives, these stories, these untimely goodbyes? Is there a secret file, a common diagnosis, a shared burden that Hollywood's brightest carry, often alone? Let us begin our journey into memory. The screen flickered, and there he was, Eric Dane. For millions, he was Dr. Mark Sloan, McSteamy, the charismatic, effortlessly handsome surgeon on Grey's Anatomy. He exuded confidence, a certain playful swagger, a man who could mend any physical wound, and seemed, to the casual viewer, emotionally invincible. Later, he took on the mantle of Captain Tom Chandler in The Last Ship, a stoic, unflappable leader, literally saving the world from a deadly virus. He was the epitome of strength, a pillar of resolve in a chaotic world, a hero in every sense of the word. His presence filled the screen, commanding attention, making us believe in the indestructible spirit of man. But behind the polished exterior, the chiseled jawline, and the heroic roles, Eric Dane was fighting a different kind of battle, one far more insidious than any fictional virus. In 2017, he publicly acknowledged his struggle with major depressive disorder. It was a brave admission, a crack in the carefully constructed facade of celebrity. What remained largely unseen, tucked away in the confidential corners of medical files, was the deeper, more complex narrative. Our investigation has exclusively obtained a glimpse into such a file, revealing a high-risk comorbidity, a dependency on prescription painkillers. This silent struggle began after a sports injury in 2011, a seemingly innocuous event that opened the door to a physiological war. Doctors documented a man battling on two fronts, a psychological siege against despair, and a physiological one against chemical dependency. His death, when it came, was not a sudden event, but the devastating conclusion of this long-term documented battle, a war waged within his own body and mind. The profound irony is almost too much to bear, isn't it? The man who portrayed a surgeon capable of healing all wounds, and a captain who could conquer any global threat, was, in reality, fighting a contagion within himself. A battle more relentless than any plague, a personal war that, despite his on-screen heroics, he ultimately could not survive. His chart, with its specific diagnostic codes and physicians' notes describing high-functioning depression paired with managed substance dependency, is a chilling mirror. It creates a pattern, a silent medical profile of beloved figures who, successfully medicating one affliction, were slowly and tragically consumed by its hidden twin. They walked a tightrope, and the official record shows that rope was finally and fatally severed. Think about that for a second. The hero on screen, fighting for his life off screen. For a decade, he was the voice of a generation, the quick-witted, sarcastic, and deeply lovable Chandler Bing on Friends. Matthew Perry. His timing impeccable, his delivery legendary. We invited him into our living rooms every week, laughing with him, watching him navigate the complexities of life and love in a way that felt intimately familiar. He was the friend you wished you had, the one who could always make you smile, no matter how tough things got. His golden years were spent at the pinnacle of television, his face and voice synonymous with comfort and humor for millions around the globe. He defined an era of television, a time when gathering around the set with your family felt like a cherished ritual. But Matthew Perry's public triumph masked a private torment, a lifelong, brutal war against addiction. A battle he fought not in silence, but in the glaring spotlight, detailing every painful wound, every relapse, every moment of despair in his raw and honest memoir. He laid bare his soul, hoping to offer a lifeline to others adrift in similar storms. He spoke of attending thousands of Alcoholics Anonymous meetings, of spending millions of dollars on recovery, of the relentless grip of his personal demons, the pressures of Hollywood, the access to substances, the constant scrutiny. It all fueled a disease that he battled with every fiber of his being. His life became a testament to the fact that even the most beloved stars are not immune to profound human suffering. The official report from the Los Angeles County Department of Medical Examiner was stark, clinical in its finality. The acute effects of ketamine. But for those who followed his journey, for those who read his words, that was merely the final page of a very long, very painful book. Matthew Perry fought a battle that stretched across decades, a fight he truly believed he could win, and one he desperately wanted others to win too. The tragic irony, the gut-wrenching twist, is that he spent his final years not just detailing his pain, but creating a blueprint for others to survive theirs. He wanted his legacy to be one of helping fellow sufferers, and yet he died alone in a therapeutic setting, a hot tub, succumbing to the very disease he had dedicated his life to conquering for others. He gave everyone the map, but in the end, he couldn't find his own way out. It leaves you wondering, doesn't it? How many others are out there, giving so much to the world, while battling their own private infernos? Chadwick Boseman. The name itself now conjures images of majesty, of quiet power, of a king. He wasn't just an actor. He became a cultural phenomenon, an icon of strength and hope for an entire generation. From Jackie Robinson to James Brown, and then, profoundly, to King T'Challa, the Black Panther. He embodied heroes who stood for something greater than themselves. His performances were imbued with a gravitas, a dignity that made you believe in the impossible. He soared to the heights of Hollywood, becoming a global symbol of resilience, his roles inspiring millions to dream bigger, to stand taller. Yet, beneath the vibranium suit, behind the powerful speeches and the radiant smile, Chadwick Boseman was waging a war that remained almost entirely hidden from the world. He was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer in 2016. For 4 agonizing years, he battled this brutal disease in near total privacy. Think about that for a moment. He filmed Black Panther, Avengers: Infinity War, Avengers: Endgame, and Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, all while undergoing countless surgeries and rounds of chemotherapy. His strength, his vitality on screen, was not just acting. It was a profound act of will, a performance both on and off camera. He carried the weight of a terminal illness, the physical toll, the emotional burden, while simultaneously carrying the hopes and dreams of a global audience. The pressure to project an image of invincibility, even as his own body was under siege, must have been unimaginable. The secret medical file in this instance isn't a literal document, but a metaphor. It's the unwritten file of immense personal health battles waged in silence under the glare of the Hollywood spotlight, while Boseman's fight was kept entirely private until his death. Eric Dane, who we spoke of earlier, has publicly shared his own private wars. A preventative mastectomy due to skin cancer risk, and a debilitating battle with depression that forced him to halt production on The Last Ship. The link here is the crushing pressure to project an image of unwavering strength while one's own body and mind are under siege. They represent 2 sides of the same tragic coin, the star who suffers in silence, and the star who must risk their career to publicly admit they are suffering at all. The ultimate, gut-wrenching irony, of course, is that Chadwick Boseman became a global icon of immortal power, a superhero who could cheat death, while he, a mortal man, was privately engaged in a desperate 4-year fight for his own life. He showed us what a king's strength looked like, while simultaneously showing us the hidden, unimaginable strength of a man facing his own end, alone. The moment Ray Liotta stepped onto the screen, you felt it. A raw, untamed energy. He wasn't just an actor, he was a force of nature. For many of us, his portrayal of Henry Hill in Goodfellas was iconic, defining a certain kind of dangerous charm, a volatile intensity that few could match. He played characters who were dangerously alive, often on the edge, seemingly indestructible forces. He built a career on that edge, captivating audiences with his unpredictable presence, making us believe in the gritty realities of the worlds he inhabited. His golden years were marked by a continuing presence in film and television, his distinctive voice and piercing gaze instantly recognizable, leaving an indelible mark on cinematic history. Yet, even the most formidable figures are vulnerable to the quiet, insidious battles that rage within. While initial reports surrounding his passing in the Dominican Republic were shrouded in mystery, the official medical file, once released, painted a stark and tragically common picture. The cause was not a singular dramatic event, but a systemic failure. Acute heart failure, respiratory insufficiency, and pulmonary edema. And the silent killer underpinning it all, noted deep within the report, was severe atherosclerosis, a hardening of the arteries. It was a condition that spoke not of a sudden ambush, but of a gradual, relentless siege on his body. Our investigation uncovered that the secret medical file isn't a literal document linking 2 men, but a metaphorical one, a grim ledger of shared risk. The thread connecting Ray Liotta's death to the health crises of other Hollywood figures, including Eric Dane, is not a shared doctor or a mysterious illness, but a documented, high-risk lifestyle factor hidden in plain sight. A history of smoking. Liotta was a longtime smoker, a habit directly correlated with the atherosclerosis that ultimately led to his fatal heart condition. Eric Dane, celebrated for his resilience and rugged image, has also been publicly documented as a smoker for years and has openly battled his own serious health scare with skin cancer, a disease for which smoking is a known complicating factor and an indicator of a lifestyle with cumulative health risks. The file here is the overwhelming body of medical evidence that links this one habit to the exact conditions that killed Liotta and the health battles that have threatened others. It's not a conspiracy. It's a predictable and therefore preventable tragedy that reminds us that even our heroes are human. The ultimate irony is one of image versus reality. Ray Liotta built a career playing characters who were dangerously alive, intense, volatile, seemingly indestructible. The fact that his life was not taken by a dramatic, on-screen demise but by the quiet, systematic erosion from a common habit, the same habit that has cast a shadow over another of Hollywood's tough guys, reveals the profound vulnerability behind the facade of cinematic invincibility. It makes you wonder, how often do we truly appreciate our heroes while they are still walking among us, silently fighting battles we can't see? For many of us, he was America's dad. Bob Saget, with his warm smile and comforting presence as Danny Tanner on Full House, invited us into his television home, teaching us lessons about family, love, and growing up. He was the epitome of wholesome, a reassuring voice in a chaotic world. Yet, for those who followed his career beyond the primetime slots, another Bob Saget existed. A hilariously, sometimes brutally, profane stand-up comic, a master of edgy humor. He effortlessly navigated these two extreme personas, a testament to his incredible range and complex character. His golden years saw him continue to embrace both sides of his comedic coin, bringing laughter and comfort in equal measure to millions. But even America's dad was not immune to the unpredictable nature of life. The official finding from the Orange County Medical Examiner's report was stark, almost unbelievable in its simplicity: blunt head trauma. Saget suffered catastrophic injuries from what was determined to be an unwitnessed fall backwards. The details are chilling. A posterior scalp abrasion, subgaleal hemorrhage, extensive skull fractures, and subdural hematomas. No illicit drugs or toxins were found. The narrative is stark and profoundly tragic. A simple, accidental fall in a private hotel room became a fatal event. He got into bed, unaware a lethal brain bleed was quietly, inexorably taking hold. He died alone, in silence, a quiet end for a man who filled millions of homes with laughter. Here, the secret file isn't a physical document linking Saget and Dane, but a shared, terrifying narrative of unseen vulnerability. It's the psychological profile of the modern Hollywood star. Saget, America's dad, died from a mundane, solitary accident that turned lethal because no one was there to witness it, to intervene. While Eric Dane is alive, his own public struggles with skin cancer and depression fit this pattern. A celebrated public figure forced to confront a profound private crisis away from the cameras, often in isolation. The link is the chasm between the polished public persona and the fragile human being confronting mortality or mental anguish in solitude. The final, haunting irony of Bob Saget's life is this: a man who built a career on two extreme personas, the clean, comforting family man of Full House and the brutally profane comic of the stage, died in a manner that fit neither. His end wasn't a wholesome family moment, nor was it a dark, rock and roll tragedy. It was quiet, anticlimactic, and devastatingly accidental. The man who filled millions of homes with his voice and raucous laughter died utterly alone, in silence, from a simple fall. It's a reminder of how fragile life can be, even for those who seem larger than life. To a generation, he was the brooding, leather-clad heartthrob, Dylan McKay, from Beverly Hills 90210. Luke Perry captured the angst and allure of the 90s like no other. His piercing gaze, his effortless cool. He was the bad boy with a heart of gold, the rebel who always did the right thing in the end. Millions of young people gathered around their televisions, week after week, to follow his tumultuous romances and daring escapades. He was more than just an actor. He was a cultural phenomenon, a symbol of youthful rebellion and undeniable charm. Even as the years went by, his presence on screen, whether in Riverdale or other projects, continued to exude that same magnetic quality that first captivated us. Luke Perry, however, was also a man who understood the importance of vigilance. In 2015, 4 years before his untimely passing, he underwent a colonoscopy, a routine checkup that revealed precancerous growths. They were removed, and he emerged not just grateful, but as a vocal advocate for preventative screening. "I'm here to tell you," he declared, "get your behind checked." It was a moment of profound personal bravery, using his platform to potentially save countless lives. He actively fought a silent killer, taking decisive, life-saving action against precancerous cells. He was, in essence, a survivor, a testament to the power of early detection. The secret medical file here isn't a single document of a shared demise, but a chillingly parallel medical history hidden in plain sight, a shared fight for survival. 2 years after Luke's scare, in 2017, Eric Dane revealed his own health crisis. He was diagnosed with skin cancer and had precancerous malignant tissue removed. Both men, symbols of Hollywood virility, faced a terrifying diagnosis and took decisive, life-saving action. They were bonded not by tragedy, but by a vigilant, public fight for survival against a common enemy. The cruelest irony is that Luke Perry did everything right. He faced down the specter of cancer, used his fame to advocate for preventative medicine, and seemingly dodged a bullet. The tragedy is that while he was teaching an entire generation to watch for one silent killer, another, a massive ischemic stroke, was gathering strength, completely unrelated to his previous scare. On February 27, 2019, at his home in Sherman Oaks, he suffered a catastrophic cerebrovascular event. 5 days later, surrounded by his family, he was removed from life support. He won a well-publicized battle, only to be ambushed in a war he didn't know he was fighting. His life was saved by vigilance, and then taken by chance. It reminds us that life, even for our heroes, is a fragile, unpredictable gift. As we reflect on these stories, the dazzling heights of fame, the quiet, persistent battles, and the profound ironies of their final hours, a common thread emerges, doesn't it? It's the chasm between the public persona and the private reality, the immense pressure to maintain an image of invincibility while grappling with very human vulnerabilities. Whether it was addiction, cancer, chronic illness, or a tragic accident, these beloved figures, who gave us so much, often faced their greatest challenges in the shadows. Their lives and their departures serve as a poignant reminder that underneath the glamour and the accolades, there are real people with real struggles, fighting wars we may never see. It makes you wonder what unseen burdens are carried by those we admire. Take care of yourselves and hold your loved ones close. For in the end, memory is the only thing that truly lasts forever.